All right, so here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing today. Okay, we're going to continue section 1. Now, today the goal is to kind of wrap up everything, kind of tie it all together. We are talking about a lot of different things these last 2 days in here. We're talking about a lot of expressions, you know, how to write things down from like a word form into an algebraic like formula. There's no equal signs in expressions. You just kind of write it down. Now, we're going to continue that today. I want to make sure that we get better at this because you guys were pretty good, but I want to make sure that everyone's kind of at the best of their ability today. I'm going to see kind of where you're sitting at the very end of class today. And then one of the things I want to talk about today is, other than variables, how do we simplify things? Like if you had an order of operations problem with powers, that's what I want to look at and see kind of where you're sitting. Now, you will need calculators. I would recommend that you probably go grab one of those now. Go do that.
AJ.
If you need extras, I got a few. I think I have 9 back there right now. But I got 5 up here if you want to grab one. I just want to make sure everyone's got one. You should have enough for almost everybody, I
believe. Today after school. He does. Be there if you swear.
Okay, everyone's got one? Perfect. Okay. Now, if you have your own calculator, it would actually be helpful too if you like have one to have it out so you know how to use it. Now, again, tomorrow, I kind of warned you this. We're going to have a bunch of educators in here tomorrow, a bunch of teachers. Just ignore them. They're just here to kind of watch the activity. They're not here to watch you personally. They just want to see how I run the activity that we're doing. It's very similar to what we did the other week when we did the red tag thing, but I slightly modified it so it makes a little more sense. Instead of just kind of wandering around the room aimlessly. I'm going to have the room set up where there's 3 rows of quite a few desks, where they'll be like actually in rows kind of crammed together. There'll be one group off to the side over here, just kind of some extra desks left over. And the goal is, you're going to do a few problems at this station. I think I had 4 picked out. Then you're going to have 3 and 2, or it's going to be 5, 4, 3. I'll tell you that instruction tomorrow, how many I would like to complete. Your goal is to get through each of the stacks and try, and I'm going to have a lot of problems, so you don't have to do every problem there. It's like you get to pick ones that you want to try. The goal is to try to move to a new stack, try to get through each one. I'll have you start at different spots, and then when you're finished with all of them, your goal is to come over here to this stack and you can work on your homework. Okay, that's the idea. Now, tomorrow, it's going to be continuation of what we do today. So a lot of the stuff we're seeing today is what's going to be on there. You're going to be starting at different spots. I'll kind of tell you your seeing arrangements when you walk in. I'll probably have, like the board will have your seeing chart, but it'll be separated into those little groups so you know where to start. I'll place the problems in front of you and kind of give you the instructions. Now, here's the thing. Before you move to a new stack, because I know I'm going to tell you how many I want you to try, or I want to check your answers before I move you on. So to move on to this next step, I need to see the work you're doing. So you have to have a piece of paper, have pencils tomorrow, be ready to go when you walk in here so we can make that activity kind of move seamlessly. And then the goal is to get over here, and then you can work on your homework, free work, and you can ask questions. At any point during tomorrow, you can always ask questions, so don't be afraid to. It's just one of those things I want you to get some practice before I just turn you loose in homework, and I get to see how you're doing. You get that one-on-one attention on what problem you're working on. Any questions with the style of problems we're doing tomorrow? Okay, it's very similar to what we're doing today, so you can see the 3 types of problems that we're working on. All right. Now, let's continue on from Friday with the notes. We're going to start with one of the problems that we started on Friday, or Thursday probably. I want to talk about exponents. This is something that your calculator will be super helpful with. This is a part of one of the last types of problems we're going to have today. I have 3 sets of problems. It kind of goes with the 3 sets you see here. So the first one is exponents. So for example, what I was talking about is when you have a base and you put it to a power and you want to find the final answer. Here's the example, right? 6 to the power of 2, right? Now, the idea here is you can type in your calculator. Everyone knows how to type that in. Right? You hit the 6. Is the little caret key. Now, if you don't have a caret key, the little arrow key, for me it's right next to the 7, right over here. If you don't have that button, maybe your calculator, because you maybe have your own personal one, it might have like a Y to the X key. That just means you're putting it to a power. And then you can type in the 2 and hit enter and it will spit out 36. Right? It'll automatically do it for you, which is nice. But here's the thing. I also want you to know, like, what is it actually doing? Like, it's fine that the calculator can do it for you because that's nice, it's quick. But what does 6 to the second power mean? Yeah, exactly right. It's 6 times 6. This is the alternate form of solving it. So if like you didn't have a calculator, right? Let's say you don't have one on you. You could just do the alternate form where you show me that you're doing 6 times 6. And then that's the answer, 36. Now tomorrow, when we do our little activity, you'll have to do a couple of these where I'd like you to write this down, but then you can just type in your calculator. Give me the final answer. Does that make sense? So you're showing me you know what the exponent means, and you know how to find the final answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do another one of those so you can get a chance to type some of this stuff in, because it's kind of nice to know how to use the technology to help you out. So second one, I would like you to type this in. Here you go. 8 to the 4th.
4,000.
Okay, what is it?
4,096.
4,096? Ooh, that's big. Okay.
Ooh.
So 4,096. Now, okay, so again, how we type that in, you hit the little 8 button, hit the little caret key that's over by the 7, type in the 4, then hit enter and hopefully it's spitting out that. Now, what does 8 to the 4th power mean?
8 times 8 times.
Exactly. So that's the alternate form. So if you didn't have a calculator, you could just take the 4 8s, multiply together one at a time, and that would give you the 4,096. That's the idea of like what it's telling you to do. Okay, questions on that? Does it make sense how to use the technology? Is anyone struggling with how to type that in?
Cool.
Okay, all right, good. All right, let's go to the next one. This one's gonna have a parenthesis on it. So you get a chance to type in negative numbers. Okay. All right, so negative 6 to the 10th power. Big number. I didn't know if the calculator could actually do this.
Do we have to put the parentheses?
Yeah, we do need the parentheses on it, because we gotta make sure it's giving me a negative number. Okay, it's massive. Okay, so good. So it did actually calculate it. Now, here's my first question. Is my answer positive or negative? Positive. Positive. Here's why. Even powers, there'll be an even number of negatives, and the negatives will cancel each other out. Because remember, what this actually means is you're taking negative 6 times itself 10 times. Times negative 6. You get the idea. Well, every 2 of them cancels out the negative. Like that's how multiplying works. 2 negatives cancel each other out. Then the next 2 negatives cancel each other out. And there's an even number, so you will have a positive answer. Now, what was that massive number?
60,466,176.
There you go, Reed.
76, that was your going on there. Okay. Okay. Now, again, the idea behind it is that the calculator's there to make that easier. I would not want to multiply 6 times itself 10 times. That's why it's nice that the calculator can do that for you. Okay? All right, questions on the real math? This is the alternate form of writing it versus just typing in the calculator. Do we understand both? Because I'm going to ask you to type it in tomorrow, but I also want to see like what it actually means, the alternate form. Okay, next one. Now I don't have this one on the slide, I don't think anyway. We talked about this the other day. What happens if you put 10 to the 3rd power? What's the shortcut without typing it in?
300.
Oh, not 300. Say it. It's 1,000. Here's the idea. If it's ever a 10, that's just how many zeros you have on it. So the power tells you how many zeros you have. It's 1 with 3 zeros. So it is the number of thousands. That's the shortcut, and that only works on 10s. So if it was 10 to the 5th power, you would have a 1 with 5 zeros on it. So that's 100,000. Does that make sense, the shortcut when you do 10s? Now, again, you can type it in a calculator, it would spit out the same answer. That's just a quick way of doing powers of 10. We did that, I think that was something we talked about on Thursday last week when I was telling about like what numbers actually mean and talking about like the actual, the idea of like what that is in terms of distances. Okay, all right. So, last one here. 4 to the 5th. I'm going to walk around. I want to see what you typed and what your final answer is. Okay, so don't say it out loud. I want to see that you're actually typing it. You can type it right in front of me. Perfect. Nice. Perfect, perfect. I just want to see that everyone's typing it in correctly. Nice, nice, nice. Very nice, very nice. Perfect. All right, Dark.
Dark house.
Do we have a calculator there? We have an extra one?
Here, Dark.
I'll give you a calculator here, but.
I can buy one of mine.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, nice. Are you comfortable typing on your own? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right, good. All right, so Dark again, how you type that in?
I know.
Okay. Let's see the last. Oh, you did the first one. Okay. Now again, reminder. Hopefully you feel comfortable typing that in. It seems like everyone is. That's really good. If you have your own calculator, just make sure you talk to me ahead of time so you know how to type it in. Now remember, the real alternate form of this means you're taking 4 times itself 5 times in a row. Okay, the answer is not 20. It's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, which is 1,024? Yeah. It's a big number. Okay? Alright, now let's move on to the next type. Next type today. This is one of the things we started on Friday. Can we write a sentence, like take a sentence like that, and actually come up with the mathematical expression that it represents? Okay, you're not solving, you're not simplifying. Can you just look at those keywords up there and figure out what formula we're actually doing for it? These, I only want to do 4 of these, and we're going to get to the new stuff today. Okay, something we introed on Friday, but we didn't really spend a lot of time on. Okay, let's do the keywords here. Okay, what does the word less than mean? Minus. Okay, so we're subtracting. So
What does it product mean?
product. So let's talk about that one. What does product mean? Multiply. Okay.
So it's
So,
a
so yeah, so we're going to be subtracting a 10. Now we're not typing anything in, so don't type anything in calculator. We're not solving for anything. The idea is this: when you first look at a problem, can you understand the keywords? Here's what we have: the product of 7 and f. So the idea is that if it's this product that's multiplying, and these are the 2 things that are multiplying together, 7 and f. Now, when you have a letter and a number, you can just push them together. You can put a little dot between them. Preferably, don't use the little times symbol anymore, the little X symbol, because it looks like an X. But that's how you multiply. And then 10 less than, that means you're subtracting 10. The word less than is that tricky one where it puts 10 in the back. Now, if you can't think of that, think of it this way. If I said 10 less than your age, take your age and subtract 10. Right? You already know how to do that instinctively, but when you read it, you have to understand the 10s go in the back and you have to subtract it. Okay.
What do you do with the product of?
Product of, that's the multiplying. That's this part right here. You're doing the product of anything that comes after it.
I did the other way.
So, 10 minus?
Yeah.
No, it's got to be switched. When you have the word less than, it's like one of the only few you actually have to switch them around. So this is the correct way to write it. So the product of these 2, and we're going to go 10 less than. Okay, questions on the first one. The word less than switches things around. Usually if we do like subtract, you could go like 10 subtracted by the product, that's 10 minus. But the idea is that less than is that weird one where it switches. I want to put that one on there because that was one we'll talk about Friday. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Let's talk about the keywords. Okay, so very, very similar to the last one. What does product mean? Multiplication. Okay, we're doing multiplication. We're multiplying these 2. So 8 and a number. Now we can pick any letter you want. So throw out a letter. A. Okay, I heard A first. So 8 times A, and you can use capital letters or lowercase, doesn't really matter. So 8A, and we're increasing it by 12. Increase means to add, total, sum, plus. However you want to think of it. I'm going to send out that list today. One more time. I think I did it like about a month ago. I kind of warned you last week I was going to send this out. It is nice to know this before we actually get homework, and homework we're going to get tomorrow. So you can kind of see it. It's just a worksheet. It's pretty straightforward. All right, let's go through the next one. So that one's pretty straightforward. Remember, that's it. We're just trying to write down the formula that represents it. Okay, now I got 2 more. Here's the next one. This is the third one. The sum of 15 and the quotient of n and 7. Sum of and quotient of are both in this problem. So let's talk about the keywords here. What does the word sum of mean? Add. Now, what we're adding, because this is the hard part, we're adding this part that comes after the word of, and the part that comes after the word and. So it's 15 and something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's coming after the plus sign is this thing. And now what they're saying in the back is the word quotient of. What do we know about quotients? Division. We're dividing. Now you can use the little old school division symbol. You could use the little fraction sign. I don't really mind, whatever one you want to do. But we're doing the quotient of n and 7. So n divided by 7, or you can go like this. This is the same thing. This is what they're telling you to do. We're doing the sum of these two items, 15 and that thing. Okay, questions? Okay. All right, so there's those two. Now, here's the last one I want to talk about. This is the absolute last one before we move on to the new stuff today. What if they switched up the problem? What if on the next part, on letter L, I don't have it typed up here, but on letter L, what if they did this?
Draw.
What if I gave you that and I asked you to write a sentence for it? Like, just give me a simple sentence that means that thing.
4
Minus
minus
3,
Okay, good. All right. So 4 minus, and then I heard 3x. It's 3 times x, right? So 3 times x. Or 3 times a number x. Number and x. This is sometimes how the book puts it. They say a number when they use a variable. Okay, does that make sense, like the keywords? Now, that one would be different. If I did less than, if I used the word less than, because I know some of you want to use keywords, I'd go 3 times a number less than 4, because when you say the word less than, it moves it to the back. So 3 times the number's in the back and subtract it from 4. Okay, so
Can you close the window?
is it a little cold?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm using it.
Okay, usually it's hot. All right. Do we feel a little bit better about the idea of like sentence form?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna practice some of those tomorrow a lot. That's kind of what our little groups are based on. We're gonna have both. We'll have the sentences and then the ones where you have to write your own sentence. Remember, tomorrow you definitely need a piece of paper and pencil tomorrow because the groups that we're in, you have to kind of work independently. And I want to see your answers, so you have to actually have work down. A lot of the problems are like these. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Are you getting home today?
Today,
Wow.
probably tomorrow. That's what I want to do for tomorrow. Okay, last part here. This is the absolute last part. Okay, all right. Here we go. Last part today. Okay, it's order of operations. We introed this the other day. Okay, so let's talk about order of operations. Order of operations is a way to guarantee that everyone in this room will get the same answer on an expression or a math problem, so you know the order you need to go in to actually solve it. Now, the order itself, we have a little acronym. Bendos,
Bendo.
right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, so that's any type of grouping symbol. You have to do anything in those first, if you can. Then you're going to do exponents. So an exponent, so that's the idea of like 3 to the power of 2. You have to do those next. Then you want to multiply or divide. Now this is the goofy one. Multiplying or dividing is whatever one comes first. So if you had a problem that was like this, you actually have to divide first and then go into multiplication next. Because it's either one. It doesn't matter that m's before d. M and d are interchangeable. That's the weird thing. You just go left to right and go in that order. So in this one I would go 10 divided by 2, then times 3. Then the last one is add and subtract, and that's the same thing. You can add and subtract in any order as long as you go left to right. So even if it was like 7 minus 5 plus 3, you would just go straight across, subtract, add, that type of thing. Okay, does that make sense, the order that we're doing? Now, I just picked out a couple problems here so we can see what we're getting. Now, the calculator, this, does an okay job. Sometimes it will fail you when you have a lot of parentheses. because it doesn't sometimes know what to type first. Even though you're typing in letter for letter, it might go in the wrong order. So this is where like writing out a couple things by hand isn't a bad thing. Okay, so here's what we got. This is the first one. We're gonna start easy, we'll kind of ramp our way up to the more difficult one. I wanna do this for maybe a couple more minutes. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 of these. Okay, what do you think, Tusha? What do we get? What do we need to do first?
Parentheses around. Wait, no, you just times.
Okay, we're gonna multiply, right? So I wanna do the multiplication of this problem first, because again, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents on this problem, but we do have multiplying or dividing. So 10 times 3.
34.
30.
And then it's plus 4.
Then you just add 4.
34.
There you go. We have to go in that order. Notice how I'm writing it. I'm doing one step at a time until I get down to the end, and I am going in the correct order. I'm multiplying first, then I'm adding and subtracting. All right, let's go to the next one. So that was 34. Now, that was the easy one. If you type it in the calculator, usually the calculator will get that one right. Next one, same exact idea. What do we need to do first? Divide, yep. Because if we're looking, there's no parentheses on that problem. There's no exponents, but we do have multiplying and dividing. 6 divided by 2, that is 3. Now again, how I know that, if you're on a multiplication chart, which you guys will have access to tomorrow, you're looking for the number 6, and you're looking up and over to see which one is paired with the number 2. Well, it's 2 and 3. So that's how I know. That's how you divide really quick on a multiplication chart. So 6 divided by 2, find 6, find 2. What's the number on the other panel from there? So it's 3. Now, the last step here, because that was just 6 divided by 2, 9 minus 3, you have to subtract. You divide first, then you subtract later. Does that make sense what I'm doing there? Again, most people can divide in their head, really simple numbers, but if you're using multiplication, that's how you technically use it. All right, let's go letter C now, the third one. I think I put parentheses in here, yeah. Okay, parentheses. I believe this is my last problem of the day. All right, we got to change now. Now, if I was writing this down, this is a tough problem to write as an expression. Like if I had to write a sentence for this thing, you know, the sum of 5 and the product of 6 and the difference of 3, and like that's a big, long, complicated problem. But how do we solve it? What do we have to do first?
The parentheses.
Parentheses, because that's the order, right? We have to do everything in the parentheses first, finish it out. So the parentheses, 3 minus 1, that's a 2. So I want to get the parentheses done first. Now, if you're done with the parentheses, you don't technically need them. But remember, if there's anything outside that parenthesis, you have to multiply it on. That's why they have that 6 out front. You're multiplying the 6 on the parentheses. That's 12. Because again, you're following the order. I did parentheses first. There was no exponents, but I do need to multiply next. So that's 12. 6 times 2. And now there's no division. There is addition, so I'll need to do that last. And that's 17. That's what I want to see on paper tomorrow. I actually want to see kind of your order you're going in. I pick kind of easier problems to see where you're sitting.
So do you do addition first and subtraction, or does it not really?
Doesn't matter. Whatever one comes first, left or right.
Okay.
When you're at those last steps. Yep. Okay, we're good so far. Okay, all right. You can put everything down below except for calculator and pencil. This part is where I don't want you to use your neighbors. So, so right now, if you're at a group pod, just kind of ignore the people around you. I want to see where we're sitting with some basic problems here. You'll have the rest of the time to work on this. You need to turn this in before you leave. Okay? So put your name on it, and you need to turn this in. You have about 20 minutes to work on this. Okay, I want this done. I'll kind of warn you when we're halfway done. I want to see where you're at. I want to see how fast we can get through problems.
Is it not or even bad?
No, I'll tell you.
Wait, so it'd be and
Remember, I want to see you work by yourselves. Workman, go sit. Okay. Okay. Hey, I'll let you know the halfway point in class. I would like this turned in because I want to see kind of where you're sitting and where you're at. I'm going to go through the directions here in a minute. This is just to see kind of where we're sitting right now before we even get to homework tomorrow. Again, this isn't graded. I just want to see where you're at and try your best. That way I can kind of see where we're sitting right now and what we need to work on more tomorrow. So, first ones, you're just going to write the expression down, the algebraic, form of it. right? So just write the formula down, you're not solving or anything like that on numbers 1 through 3. The next ones, you're gonna write those problems, those algebraic expressions into word form. Can you write the sentence for it, for 1 through 3 there? So that's algebraic to verbal, the word form. 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom, evaluate the expressions, or the exponents, sorry. Evaluate the following exponents. You can type it in the calculator. Show me what it actually means, but then just type it in the calculator and give me the answer. So you should know how to do 1 through 3 at the bottom. You guys did that earlier in your calculator. On the back, simplify those problems down, but show a little bit of work. It should only be like 1 or 2 step problems. And you get down to a simple answer, right? But you have to go in the right order. So try your best. When you're finished, turn it in. I want this turned in before you leave today. And just try your best. It's not great. I just want to see where we're sitting right now, so I know what we need to work on tomorrow. Again, remember, tomorrow we have a bunch of teachers in here. Just ignore them. We're going to go through class as normal, do our activity, and they'll probably leave at some point.